So here we have an if-else if. This enables us to check multiple conditions, right? I can test a variable against multiple criteria with the if-else if. So I can have one condition. If that's true, it'll do something 1, another condition do something 2, another condition do something 3. The thing about an if-else if, only one of the conditions can be true. If the if is true, it's done. If the second check with the else if is true, it's done. Otherwise, it goes all the way to the last one. And with this structure, the way we have it set up right here, if none of the if, else, if checks are true, it's not going to do anything at all. Okay, so here we have val at 58, answer at 0. If val is greater than 80, it's going to add 25. If it's greater than 60, it's going to add 15. If it's greater than 40, it's going to add 5. So it comes through with 58. 58 is not greater than 80. 58 is not greater than 60. It is greater than 40, so it adds 5, prints out 5. So any of the checks can be true, but more than one of them cannot be true. And here we just have another value, running it through again. This time val is 98. So the first one that's going to trip is 98 is greater than 80, so it's going to add 25. Second, logical operators. You've got or, and not. With or, either one of the pieces attached to the or part of the condition, if either one is true, it's true. So in this case, I'm checking to see if 1's greater than 3, that can make it true, or if 2 is greater than 200. Our code that we have here, 1 is equal to 6. 6 is greater than 3. That's true. It's going to print out A+. If 6 was 2, 2 is not greater than 3, then it would go and check the condition to see if 2 was greater than 200. And as 2 is 150, that would also fail. And so it would not print A+ in that case. And we're going to check this out in just a few minutes when we get to the code. So with an or, either one can be true. With the and, they both have to be true. So if my if condition failed and it went to the else if, then 1 would have to be less than and equal to 6, and 2 would have to be less than 200. Okay, and so we'll play with this code in just a second to make sure that you're totally on board with what's going on here. And here I just changed my values around just a little bit. I've got 1 set to 6. 6 is not greater than 6, so that fails. So it checks the other side of the or. 2 is 150. 150 is not greater than 200. That fails. So now it goes to the else if, checks the and. 1, which is 6, is less than or equal to 6. And 2, which is 150, is less than 2. That you totally got it. Now this one, we're going to try to put in every combination possible. This one gets a little weird because of all the different scenarios. But I've got 1 set to 75, and I've got 2 set to 250. So let's run this thing through with this initial setup, and let's see what we get. So the first time through, we get A+. Prints out A+ because 1's value of 75 is bigger than 6. So let's change 1 to 5. Remember, with an or, either condition or any of the conditions connected with the or has to be true in order for it to execute what's attached to that if. So let's run this through one more time. Now I'm still getting A+. 5 is not greater than 6. That fails. So or checks the other condition. 2 is greater than 200 because 2's value is 250, so it executes A+. So let's change 2 to 150. Now we're going to run it through one more time. And now we get nothing. And we get nothing because 1's value is 5. 5 is not less than or equal to 0. 2 is less than 200, but with an and, all of the conditions connected with ands have to be true. In this case, I only have 2 conditions, but both of them would have to be true in order for it to execute. So fails on both checks for the or with A+, and fails on the first check with the and on comp sci. So let's go up here and let's change 1 to -5. So now -5 is less than or equal to 0, and 2's value of 150 is also less than 200. Okay, so now it prints out comp sci. So later on, we're going to look at this in an even more sophisticated way where we break down the ands and ors and we connect ands and ors all together and make some different Boolean expressions.